Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here and welcome to episode 3 of my Athletic Bilbao series for Football Manager 2019. So, where we are right now, we're in February. Today's opponent's going to be Real Madrid. We are still currently first in the league. Yes, that's right. We still have only lost to one game in the league. We're doing really well, to be fair, and we've actually beaten all the big teams so far this season. I'll show you the league table here before we get into the fixtures and the transfers. There was a little bit of activity, nothing too major. I didn't actually purchase anyone, so spoilers, but we did let a couple of people go. So yeah, we're first. We've got a game in hand over Atletico, who we are 4 points ahead of at the moment, with the potential to go to 7 if we do beat Real today. And of course Real, if they beat us, they will go ahead of Barcelona in third spot. Okay, so let's have a little look at the transfers here. Not a lot to go through really. We didn't bring anyone in, like I mentioned. We let a hell of a lot of youth players go on free transfers. Pretty much all of them are from the B team and the C team. And of course I mentioned finances in the previous episode. I just wanted to sort of lower the amount of players that are actually in those teams, and yeah, we managed to get rid of a lot of them before the end of their contracts actually ran out, which is pretty good. But yeah, as you can see at the top here, Heron, the 30-year-old goalkeeper, we did let him, 31-year-old goalkeeper, we did let him go to Sporting for $2 million. That's pounds, sorry, £2 million. Ultimately, he was never going to play a game for us. He was third choice goalkeeper, and he was starting to kick up a bit of a fuss, which has been sort of a pretty big problem that I've had throughout January. A lot of players were either kicking up a fuss about playing time, or they were kicking up a fuss about wanting to move to bigger clubs, and both of those problems essentially added to players leaving and a few failed transfers as well. But yeah, he was the first to leave. We then let Aduriz go. Of course, Aduriz is the 37-year-old striker, 38-year-old now. Unfortunately, we let him go to Real Betis. Newcastle were the other team that were interested in him, but we let him go for 1.1 million. With a potential 300,000 coming in if he plays 50 games, which probably isn't likely, but it's a little bit more value out of him, I guess. We then let Unai Nunes, the centre-back, go out on loan to Espanyol for 250,000 per month, either playing or not playing. This one was a little bit hard to do, purely for the fact that we don't have a fourth choice centre back at the moment, and squad depth is kind of at an all-time low. I'm not sure if you noticed, but we did sell another one of our defenders. So yeah, a little bit worrying, but he was one of the players that was kicking up a fuss about lack of playing time in the first team. A couple more players that we let go of, and then we have Mikel Balenciaga, who we sold to Sevilla for 7.5 mil. Plus a potential 1.5 in, I think it was 1.1 if he plays 50 games, and then 400,000 every 10 games, or after 10 games, yeah. He was sold purely for he is 30 years old, so purely for the fact of age, and the fact that Yuri is only 28, and he's essentially better, and he's played a hell of a lot better than Balenciaga this season. Of course, Balenciaga played a little bit when Yuri was out injured, for the 2-month period, but ultimately he was the backup, and at 30 years old I felt like we have that other player in the youth team, in the B team, sorry, who's a decent little prospect, and then we also have Ganea, the Romanian player as well, the Romanian Basque player. Still don't really know the whole case with that. I should probably do a little bit of research and find out exactly what's going on with that. I assume he must have moved at some stage to the Basque region, and that's how he has it. either that or maybe one of his parents is Basque. I have no idea. But anyway, so yeah, we sold Balenciaga, and we also let go of Raul Garcia for $500,000 to Houston Dynamo. If you remember correctly, he was on $100,000 per week. He doesn't really fit the system that I'm playing. I was playing him at advanced playmaker attack for a little while, but again, he's not the quickest in the world, and he was on 100,000 at 32 years old. I just figured, I'll pretty much take anything for him because I was going to let his contract just run out at the end of the season. So we managed to get 500,000 for him. He goes to America, still on 84k a week, so he's earning a decent little living there. So yeah, that was all the transfers. Of course, not the greatest in the world, because of course our team is struggling depth-wise at the moment. Let me just show you the fixtures here before we get into today's massive game against Real. As you can see, since the Atletico Madrid game in the previous episode, we are unbeaten. We have not lost a game since that time. And a lot of that is due to the fact that this tactic is just so dominating on smaller teams, and then once you change it up a little bit going into the bigger games, it does put a stranglehold on it, and possession is greatly favoured towards you despite those teams having massive quality. So yeah, the first game we played was against Huesca, who we did not actually score against. A 0-0 draw. I don't know what to say about this game really. It was dominated by us, as you can probably tell, but strikers and the attacking players just couldn't find the breakthrough there. Moving on to the next game, which was Deportivo Alaves in the Copa del Rey. Of course, we did lose the first leg, and we went out to Deportivo. They managed to beat us, 1-1 draw, and we go out on goal difference. Disappointing. The goal scorer was San Jose with a penalty there, and they managed to get the winner a few minutes after that. We then beat Eibar 2-0 with Danny Garcia and San Jose with another penalty once again, before we managed to beat Barcelona at home. Inaki Williams with the only goal there in that game. And like I said, we've beaten Atletico Madrid, we've beaten Barcelona, and of course earlier in the season we also beat Real Madrid, our opponents today of course. Moving on from that, we managed to continue our fine run of form against Leganes, and we beat them 2-1, Yuri and Sasita getting a goal in the 91st minute. We played a little friendly match against Setúbal. Nothing really much to say there, just sort of gave a few players that were lacking match fitness a game before we returned to league action and could only manage a draw against Real Betis. They had a player sent off really late on. Just unfortunately couldn't break the draw there. Of course, we opened the scoring and they equalised, and yeah, we then struggled, and we also struggled in the next game again. Something to mention: Inaki Williams has really dropped off in terms of goals. He just hasn't scored, to be honest, in all of these games, and we've still managed to win because a lot of the like I mentioned in the previous episode, a lot of the goals are scored between all sort of attacking members of the team. More so for Munain and Sasita, seem to come up with a lot of goals, and then you have like the centre mids, the advanced playmaker centre mids, do tend to chip in with a few goals here and there. But yeah, pretty disappointing draw, 0-0 against Levante. We then went into the derby against our fierce rivals Real Sociedad, and we managed to pick up the win here with a Benat goal in the 14th minute. Girona was the next opponent away from home, and we managed to beat them 2-1, despite them scoring a very late goal. Our goals came from Sasita and another penalty from San Jose. VAR giving away a lot of penalties, I've noticed. It's not too often that the penalties are declined, based on what I've seen in this save so far. But we move on to Villarreal, of course, the reverse fixture from the start of the season. Iker Munain picking up the one goal there. And we got a little bit of revenge against Deportivo Alaves, with Dani Garcia picking up the 1 goal in this 1-0 victory. So of course that does leave us today with our opponents Real Madrid. As far as the lineup goes, this is pretty much the starting 11. Although Martinez has sort of been dropped recently, and that is due to the fact that Yere has been playing out of his skin. He has been so good. He's got the highest average rating out of all the defenders, I believe. Yep, that's right. Well, except for the fullbacks, but the 3 or 4 main centre-backs that have been in the team, he's definitely had the highest rating. Another thing to mention, actually, that I forgot to mention previously in transfers, was that Williams, Yere, and Yuri were all sought after during the January transfer window. And it was very hard to keep all 3. Williams was was chased by Real Madrid and Bayern. Yere was chased by Lyon, Watford, and Atletico. Not to mention a couple of Chinese clubs as well after the window shut. And finally, Yuri was chased by Arsenal and Real Madrid as well. Yeah, it was very hard to keep Yuri, actually, because he was kicking up a big fuss at the fact that I didn't reject the offers, but I just sort of tried to negotiate 50 million for him because I don't really want to let him go, if that makes sense. And that was kind of, once all the offers were declined, or once they cancelled them, was when the Balenciaga transfer sort of came to fruition. But yeah, so today's lineup will be Ramiro in goal. Going to go with Yuri, Martinez, San Jose, and Kappa as our back 4. Iturraspe, as always, the defensive midfielder. The 2 mids are going to be Bernat. I always say Bernat, but it's Bernat. Dani Garcia as the other one in the attacking advanced playmaker role. Going to go Munain as the inside forward, Sasita as the winger on the right, and as always, Williams will be up front. Not too sure what I'm going to do with Williams. I think he would probably be better as a right winger, to be honest. I mean, he can play all 3 positions up front, but it's just like, do I drop Sasita? And not to mention, we don't actually have a proper striker at the moment either. We've got a few options down here. Villalibre is one of the guys that he was in the first team at the start of the game, but I did drop him down to the B team, or he might have started in the B team actually. I think he did actually. Yeah, but I brought him up. He's pretty impressive. He's rated pretty highly, 3-star potential with an extra star there if he overachieves. Then we got Gurizeta, who looks impressive, but then you look at his off the ball and composure, and you kind of understand why. He's not too great. He's only 22. I'm not too sure about him. He's in the first team as well. And finally, of course, Cordoba, who I rate a little bit higher than all of them, but I feel like he's more of an inside forward / winger out on the left-hand side. So yeah, I'm not too sure who to play there. I guess for now, we'll just stick with Williams, even though he's unhappy that his transfer was blocked, and he actually requested to be transfer listed. I think, honestly, I would probably take about 50 mil for him at the moment, which is double his value to an extent, but he does have a release clause of 72, so to stop any more potential bids coming in, I'm going to keep that at 72 million asking price. So yeah, the bench days: Simon, Rico, Cuenca, Iguaras, Lopez, Hervias, and we're going to chuck Cordoba on there as well. Alright, let's submit the team. And let's go. I was going to change the mentality behind it, but I've decided to just... Will I change it? It's on positive right now, but against all the big teams, I have actually switched it from positive back down to balanced. I'm just not too sure. You know what? I think I will actually go for it. I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna go for it. Dropping it back down to balanced against the big teams just makes you a little... I feel like it's a little bit more stable in defence. I don't know what it is, but I just feel a little bit more stable. So we're just going to do the team talk here, tell the boys I have faith in them, as I always do. And let's get this match underway. It is raining, as it is in real life for me currently. But yeah, these games are always going to be hard. I feel like the tactic, among with a little bit of luck, has really gotten us the big results against these teams so far, which is probably why we're overachieving in the league at this current time, yeah. Real with a counter attack here. Mariano crosses it, Bale back post, and that is a disappointing goal to concede. Ramiro actually saved it, and then it ricocheted back to Bale, and he kind of he didn't even really hit it, to be honest. It just kind of fell over the line. We do have a free kick. Martinez, ooh, nice and low, but just can't get it past the keeper, and no one can get the rebound. Just going to demand a bit more from the boys. I mean, we're 1-0 down, but if you look at the possession, we're at 78 or 70% at the 25th minute, as Bernat picks up a knock there. I'm going to take him off, just because we don't really have the depth for someone picking up a serious injury, and he's pretty integral to the team. We are moving the ball forward, but disappointingly give the ball away there. Of course, we are playing a possession-based tactic, so it's kind of frustrating to see that. Oh, good tackle, son. Alright, Lopez now in a really deep position, and it looks like we almost gave the ball away there. Sasita pumps it up. Williams with his pace, 1-on-1, and what a tackle that is. What a tackle that is. That's a goal saver right there. I think that was Ramos. Sasita with a corner, and is that a penalty? Oh no, it was a free kick against Yuri. Disappointing. We've only had... we just got our second shot on target going into half-time there. Yeah, a little bit disappointing. Not the greatest first half. I think we were a bit unlucky with Bale's shot ricocheting back to him. I'm going to tell the boys they've been unlucky, so get a nice little response out of them there as well. And we're just kind of looking to not give the ball away like that, and to just take a bit more of a stranglehold. As Modric, I thought Modric was going to score then. I thought that was a goal. No joke. Still 1-0. Going to make a substitution here in a second. A couple of players are really just not performing out there. Williams is also on a yellow card. Do I bring Muniain off? He's actually furious for some reason. I don't really know why. Do you know what? Let's undo that for a second. Let's bring Muniain off, and then we'll play Williams as the inside forward. Let's see if that little tweak... I mean, Cordoba's not even match fit, to be fair, so it's probably not even smart me bringing him on at the moment, but... typical. Just typical. Okay. Sasita picks up an injury there. It's probably long-term, to be fair. They usually are when they happen during games. But yeah, we're going to try something different here. We're going to go with Williams as the inside forward on the left. And we're going to play with Cordoba up front. Just because Williams just has not played well since the end of December. As Bale puts in a really good challenge there. I'm just going to encourage the boys here. I mean, things aren't looking good. I probably could have told them to push forward a bit more, but encourage might do the trick. We're just not keeping possession. Every highlight, it appears that we're giving the ball away as Mariano's 1-on-1, and he actually puts it wide. It's a bit of a lifeline there for us. Although we have made all 3 subs, and we're getting towards the end of the game. I mean, I'll be a little bit disappointed, to be honest. A little bit. if we don't score here. But overall, I mean, we have been very, very lucky, I believe, against the bigger teams this season anyway. And I mean, losing 1-0 to Real away from home is still a pretty positive result. It's not a good result, you can't really call it good. But it's a positive sign to not see your team be beaten by one of the world's best teams by more than 1 goal. Let's just say that. So I'm just going to tell the boys they're unlucky today. Nice and calm. Let them know that I'm upset, but I'm still proud of their performance. Well, for most of them. I'm not really too proud of all of them. Yeah, it's not a great injury there for Sita either. Out for 7 weeks. So, yeah, not great. He's also our captain. Bernat, only 3 days out for Bernat, so I'm kind of glad I took him off there. And yeah, there you go. Williams vows to end his goal drought. He's played 8 hours without finding the net. I think that's pretty much since the last episode. No joke. He has not scored a goal, I think, since the last episode, which is about, what, 8 to 10 games ago? Something like that. So yeah, that's going to be it. Well, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and apart from that, take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.